Hi, hi, welcome. Good to see you, Mike. It's been a while. Yeah. Um, so just to update you a little bit, starting in September, the first Wednesday in September, which is the 4th, um, uh, this class will be simultaneously live at the Taiji Center in Madison and on Zoom. And so there will be a different link for the Zoom people to use, which I'll send you tomorrow. There's no charge for people who are on Zoom, and there'll be a small charge for people who want to come to the Taiji Center and do it in person. Um, so this is there's a number of reasons. One is because this class will be taught by um, Suzanne Kilkus and Don Coleman and myself. So there'll be three teachers with sort of different approaches, and that'll make the experience, I think, better for students to have exposure to different ways. Don has about 50 years of experience and had his own um, Tai Chi school in Madison for like 15 or 20 years. And Suzanne Kilkus is the guiding teacher of the Open Door Zen Sangha in Madison. Uh, so, the other thing is I wanted to have a physical presence somewhere for people who like we used to do before all the Zoom crazy stuff came. And we actually used to go somewhere and be in a room and be together. It was just, I know it's very old fashioned and out of date, but I really like it. And so I want to do that. And I also want to support the Madison Taiji Center, which has been going for over 40 years and is a wonderful community resource. So you look for that in your inbox probably tomorrow, I think. So today, yeah, I've been watching the Olympics, probably you have too, and the swimming. And I heard some commentator mention something about the swimming. He said, human beings swimming is a fairly recent thing. He said, we've got running down. We've been running across the land for, a million years. But we really haven't got swimming down quite yet. We're improving it all the time. Which I thought was pretty funny. But it made me think a little bit about the five elements in Qigong. And first element is earth, and the second element is water, and how a lot of these movements are very water oriented. So we'll be focusing on the five elements today: earth, water, fire or heat, air, and space. So earth can be a form, body, that is body of the senses. Water is, of course, is water, but it's also this flowing quality that water has the ability to move around things and obstacles and flow. And then the heat is one of the denoters of the presence of chi, that we all have heat in the body. We all have chi in the body. You have to have heat to have life. And then air is the breath. Uh, and space is it's the space around us. It's also the space of the mind, which is almost synonymous with consciousness in the way the Dharma teaches it. So that's why we always do some sitting meditation. So that's what we'll do today, and welcome everyone, and hope you enjoy it. I'll also continue with sort of the sub theme of reverse breathing and reverse movements. So when we just sort of naturally drop into this Tai Chi twist, we shift the weight and turn the hips, and the arms just follow. And then we bring the breath into it. At first, we're really just aware of the body, and then we bring the breath in. So we're doing this in rhythm with the breath. Okay, and now the sort of the reverse, this is the basic way to do this is to sink down and turn on the weighted foot, which you all know. But the other one is reverse. So you shift the hips, shift the weight to one side, and turn the other way. It feels a little unfamiliar at first, and we're moving the weight a little differently. Rather than sinking down on it, we're shifting it left to right. We're going to pick that up a little later. But it's good. One of the main reasons to practice Qigong is to balance yin and yang. And so if we just always do the Tai Chi twist, if we always do it the same way, it just becomes habitual. So it's good to vary it, do it the opposite way sometime, just to bring more attention to it, actually. And then you can swing back to the normal if you want to. Either way, you're paying attention to the breath. And Ken Cohen teaches that Taoist breathing techniques become long, slow, even, and fine. And he says that Qigong practitioners tend to hyperventilate. That's his term. And, we do breathe more deeply because we're moving. And so one way to really get into the breathing that he's describing is to just sit. So that's why we do that, to let the heart rate and the breath slow down. It is doable, though, when you're focusing on the breath, to make it long, slow, even, and fine while you're moving. Okay. All right. And so the first position in standing in the beginning of the Tai Chi form and Qigong practice is a mountain, which is just a poetic word for form. Or earth. So this is the first element, the earth element. And you just feel into this. It's characterized by balance, solidity, heaviness, relaxation, and the out breath. That is the sort of sinking down. And with the out breath, just allow your sense of the body to merge down into the earth, so that with the in breath you come up, but then with the out breath, drop down the body and feel the body all the way down and continue down into the earth. Now, Master Lee teaches that it's as if you're standing in sand and you're sinking down into the sand up to your, I don't know, mid calves or something. That you're actually sinking down into the earth. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and do the backwash, tree and spring. And you know this movement, and when you know it, then it's means you need to go deeper into it, because we don't really know. So the out breath, we drop our attention down and down to the top of the spine, and the attention goes down the spine. And then turn. You can continue the attention down the legs, down the feet, down to the earth. And then with the next in breath, start coming back up. Bring the attention up the legs, up the spine. And then just before the head comes up, then the hands drift up, fingers are pointing to the body. This brings our attention up, middle of the body, up through the head, out the top of the head, and then point up, 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 look up, send the attention way, way up, way, way up, and all around. Out breath. Next one. Up the center of the body, out, up, 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 out, two, third one. Okay, top of the head, down the spine. Keep in mind as the arms go out to the side, this is describing a sphere, not just a circle, but a sphere all around the body. Very good. All right. And then widening our stance, sitting down a little bit. And so the natural way to do this is in breath, come up, and out breath. Okay, now let's reverse the breathing. So do an out breath as you open, an in breath as you close. This is balancing yin and yang because you're doing it the opposite from how you were taught, how you normally do it. In breath, your hands come in. Out breath. Okay, now let's switch the other way. So now in breath. Okay, so either way, we're moving with the breath. But we don't want to become habituated to just breathing with certain movements in a certain way. Just we breathe the opposite way. After a while, you forget what the right way is, and you just do it. So this is bringing in the space element. That's the space all around the body, and also the space in the chest, in the lungs. Body and breath are moving in harmony. Mind becomes quiet. And then just imagine the space around the body is conscious. The whole body and breath is moving within this big space, which is a space of awareness. Okay. To reduce the movements. Right, next one. Let's put the left foot out and the right foot back at an angle. Trisha, you used to call this position pushing the car out of the snowbank. You push. So your back foot is at an angle, and then you sink back on it, and then you thrust forward. So and this is the ocean wave, and we're going to shift the weight forward so the knee comes, you look down, you see the toes are under the knee, and then we sit back. Okay, we sit back. So we have to bend here and bend the knee. So you could actually lift the front foot, but you're sitting back on the back leg. And then when you shift the weight, you're shifting it 70% to the front leg and 30% on the back. So sit back and shift. And that's the movement. The waist remains centered. Okay, and then the arms. So the ocean wave is like this. It sort of goes around and sort of curls back. And then really sink down on that back foot. Keep the back straight and just sit down. And then once you sit down, then just shift the weight forward onto the front foot. If you're ever by the sea, this is highly recommended. If you do it by the sea, then anytime after that you do it, you kind of remember the sea being there. In my case, it was the Pacific. Okay, ocean wave. So we're just dropping the elbows. Right, just dropping. Okay, good. Let's do a couple more. Okay, good. And now just switch the feet to the other side. Always these are done in pairs. Again, so sit back and then shift the weight. We're not really pushing with the back foot. We're just shifting the weight. It feels like you could push with the back foot, and you can't, but you just gently sort of shift the weight. And then, of course, organize it with the breath. And once you get comfortable with it, then breathe the opposite way. The breath is often compared to the tide coming and going. And of course, the body's filled with salt water. So this is the microcosm. The body is the microcosm of the sea. Okay, very good. Okay. And now switching back. This is next one is touching the sea, touching the sky, and it's the same. It's the same shifting of the weight back and forth from one foot to the other, but it's opposite. So what we're going to do, I'm sorry you can't see below my knees, but we're going to reach down and just near the foot, we're going to sort of do this. So they call it tying the shoe. So as we sit back, we bend down and tie the shoe. So the hand motion is this. Okay, so sit back, bend down, doesn't matter how far you go, and then forward, touching the sky, touching the sea, touching the sky, touching the sea. So the forward foot, the leg is straight when we're back. And then the knee bends and we come forward and we sit back and the leg is straight. And this can be done very, and very big. And in that case, we just do it at half speed. Okay. Or you can just do it, just sort of not as big. Okay. Okay. And you guessed it. Now we'll put the other foot forward to back, and then it's the same movement. So as we sit back on this back leg, the front leg is straight. Okay. And then we just shift and bend the knee, and the back leg is almost straight. So that's the weight shift. So if we sit back, we're sort of bowing, I guess. Okay, let's just do a couple more. Okay, so that's front to back. Now we'll go around. So this is one of the 8 brocades. And normally we would stand on our hips, but we're going to put our hands a little lower. So find your hips and then drop them down to where your leg meets your torso. And in this one, so we'll bend forward. Don't hurt your back here. If your back hurts, don't do it. So bend forward and then push the hips and then make a circle all around. And then the other way. So bend forward, circle the hips, bend backward, and then forward. Okay. All right. Very good. Um, well, let's go into now. So boat rowing. And in this one, so we're going to bend the waist, hands come up, straighten up, and hands go behind the body. We're going to keep looking forward, keep the chin up. Try reverse breathing. Okay, very good. So a couple more. And so this is next one is arms floating. So this is the beginning of the Tai Chi form. So where the palms are facing the body. So, and then in breath up to shoulder height and then down. And you can stand up and then sit down. And this is called arms floating. And it's taught so that as if your arms are in water. And then it moves to the next one. Still arms floating. The elbows are heavy. All of these are whole body breathing. We're expressing the movement of breathing with the body. Okay, let's do this at half speed. Okay, very good. And the next movement is called swimming. So we're going to turn the body to the side. Let's start with the right. So just turn and drop the arm, and then it just goes behind you, and then you bring it back. Yeah. sink, turning and sinking. It's the turning that moves the arm. The turning and the arm just sort of drops, moves on its own. And then you're watching the hand. Okay, let's do one more on each side. Okay. And now side to side. So we're going to sort of throw this arm out. We're going to throw this one out with the hip. There's a little bit of a wind up here. Wind up. Watch the hand. Let's do one more on each side. Okay, let's just take a moment and just loosen up if you feel at all stiff. All right. Crane walks the riverbank. So start with one hand, and we're going to shift the weight that way and lift the hand, and then let it go behind the body. So it's just up, and then the other one. And then both, sort of a shifting left and right. Okay, that's the arms. And then the legs, lift the leg, set it down, shift the weight, lift the other. And we're doing this opposite the hands. So right leg, left arm. This is very much like walking. Crane walks the riverbank. My teacher, Tricia Yu, who studied these a lot, says that this is excellent for proprioception and knowing where your body parts are, because it's employing the opposite arm and leg. And sometimes when we're on retreats, we'll do the crane walk, but we'll do it more subtly. So just as you step, the hand just comes up a little as you step. It's a form of walking meditation. If you practice walking meditation, you might want to try it, because it's easier to concentrate your mind and in your body if you're also moving your hand, even just a little bit. So crane walks through riverbank. All right. Well, let's go ahead and just shake all of this out. And this is easy to just space out and say, oh yeah, I know how to do this. So focus on the breath. As soon as you know that you know the movement, go deeper. So focus on the breath while you're doing this. Okay, let's reduce the movement. And now, let's go into wave hands through clouds. But this is, there's a lot, just like there's a lot of earth imagery and water imagery, there's a lot of cloud imagery. And so the clouds, as you know, are a combination of air and water. So as we turn, so we're moving like water. So waving hands through clouds. So the clouds are like a fog, like a white fog, which is sort of a way of saying that it's the space around the body. We're describing the space around the body kind of as a luminous fog all around the body. So water's a part of it, but it's also air and light. And so the clouds is that this is refining the chi a little higher. So water is the second element, and then heat, and then air, this is the fourth element. So we're refining this. All right, let's do a couple more. Very good. All right, and now let's do parting the clouds. So palms facing, arms facing, look up. When you get to the top, turn the hands, look through the hands and separate the clouds. When you separate the clouds, now the light of the universe comes down, fills the body. It goes down into the earth. So the clouds are intermediate between the water element and the light or space. we're literally, with this movement, it's poetic, but we're literally opening up a channel, a central channel in the body. We're opening it up to the light of the universe, and then bringing that light down through the body and down to the earth. So we're not pretending to do this, we're doing it. Mind and breath and body are one. We're opening this whole system to the light of the stars, and then bringing that down. Let's do a couple more. Okay, last one. Just notice the water in your mouth, water in your eyes. Just sense the water in the body and all the cells and the organs. Okay, good. Let's bring up our stool. Okay, and just sort of settle into your sitting posture. Okay. And then just notice earth, notice the heaviness of the body and the non-separation of the body from the earth. Sort of the liquidity, the fullness of the body, the water in the body. Put the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And then heat, just sensing the heat that's generated by the body, that's radiating from the body. Just feel the warmth. And it's not just warmth, that's the sensation. The emotional content is love. Warmth is love. We love the body. The body is what enables us to have a life. And it's warm. And then noticing the breath, the air element, not separate from the wind. And the space around the body, space around all objects. Space in the lungs. And the space of the mind. So the mind is a space in which objects of mind come and go. So just the space of the mind. And then the uprightness of the posture. So there is a down and an up. There's a vertical posture. Down is increasingly heavy. And as we bring our attention up, it becomes increasingly lighter. So we go up just into space itself. So there is this verticality, and there's down and there's up and there's left and there's right and there's front and there's back. And there's also the presence that's bigger than all of that. The presence in which all of these opposites interplay. So this could be called consciousness or awareness. And that's all around the body, behind you, connects to everything. This whole body mind is not separate from everything else. So this vast boundlessness includes everything. Long, slow, even, and fun. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. Okay, clap our hands one time. 1, 2, 3. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for your practice. And you'll get an email from me in the next day or two about the September, October classes. And have a good evening. If you'd like to stay a little bit, that's fine.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen.
Hey, Zoe, how are you?
Hey, Libby, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, Karen.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Okay, good. Now let's go to gallery. Ah.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Karen.
I wanted to say thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you'll be able to reconvene in person and also still be on Zoom. That's great.
Right. Yeah, right. It's kind of the best of both, really, isn't it? And the last time we tried this, which was back in April, we had capacity at the Taiji Center. We had almost 50 people
Wow.
show up, which was very surprising because of the COVID thing and everything. But people just showed up. We had to actually waitlist people for it. So people are ready. And
Wonderful.
I know you'd have to drive for 5 hours or something to come to make it, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. But
Right.
it's wonderful that you'll be able to do that and that people will be able to gather.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I used to be very much a part of the Taiji Center. I was one of the teachers for years. Before it moved, it used to be in a different place. And that's where everybody learned Tai Chi and Qigong. There was no other way to learn it, really. And then eventually Tricia moved away to New Mexico, maybe 10 years ago or more. And then she passed the center over to a guy named Doug Brown. And so he ran the center for a long time. And I taught there then too. But then with COVID, it just messed everything up. And then Doug bought another building and moved it. And I just never reconnected. So I want to reconnect with that physical space and with those people, with that community, because it's a community space. A lot of different groups use it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
That's
So
sounds just fantastic. I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
Yeah, me too. So
Well, and thanks for keeping this going in the interim as you have.
And thanks for your attendance. Really.
You're welcome. It's a gift to me. So.
Okay, good. I often wonder what I would do if nobody showed up. I think I'd probably just do it anyway and record it